Well,
That's the issue, no one.
Well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 57 of the Mind Clash podcast. Vegas recovery episode. Is that a decent name?
Yeah, recovery for you guys. I'm doing just fine over here.
My everything hurts.
I don't know. Half the people who went to Eat Vegas are still crying.
What's a hangover?
I never got a hangover.
I didn't get too hungover, but like my body just hated me for everything I did wrong to it.
I want to say that the trick is to don't stop drinking, and that'll actually lead to a non-hangover status.
Is that how I did it?
Yes.
That's probably it.
LLT, give us who you are and how you survived.
I'm Lieutenant Stuffington of Rejection of Sovereignty, and I survived because I never stopped.
Drinking?
All of it.
Beautiful. John?
Hi, I didn't go to Eat Vegas, so that was easy to survive.
Cop out.
Why are you here?
I'm of Rejection of Sovereignty also.
Nema?
It actually went pretty easy for me. I still drink a lot, but I don't get hangovers, so that worked fine. And I'm Test Alliance Freezador.
Beautiful. Mosquito?
I'm Mosquito God from the Glory Holers, and I survived from that extra oxygen they pump in.
Was there extra oxygen?
It's like a conspiracy theory that they pump it into the casinos and the hotel rooms to make you just like want to compulsively gamble.
Well, that explains everything. Can I get you to turn up a little bit, or I can do it locally? Well, beautiful. For anyone who didn't realize it, this weekend was Eat Vegas. The rest of us trashed our livers or watched from home. We consumed all the Eat Vegas content we could shove into our faces, and holy fuck, there was a lot of it.
A lot.
I mean, Dirk complained to me at Vegas that I wasn't hyped enough for the pre-Vegas show, but I think I'm more hyped afterwards than I was before.
Hype. I will say I felt more hype status than I did for FanFest. From FanFest.
The array of changes they put in here, I think, is one of the best I've seen on CCP in a long time.
All right, well, before we get into what we're going to go way over, guys. I know we're going to try to keep it under control, but it's going to go over. So let's talk about the breaking player news from today and what's going on between J Maricade and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, does somebody have a better TLDR than I did, or did I sum it up earlier?
I think you summed it up pretty good.
Okay, essentially, from what I understand from this article, which I will link right now, is that Jay Maricade, or Maricati, however you want to say it, we've had him on our show before, right? We've had him before. Yes? I've tried to get him.
We have, I think.
We have had him. I want to say he's also like a co-producer or something like that for Manny Bothan's his primary show, or was.
That is also true.
That is also true. See, I know my facts. Anyway, so he's like a Diplo, but also has spy alts as Diplos in other alliances, and he was trying to broker some sort of deal between GOTG and Test using alts upon alts to make it look like there was going to be a call for war between who was it, GOTG and Test/FCon, or I mean, I'm not really certain, but basically he was trying to manufacture his own war. Like he's a EVE Online war dog, you know. And that kind of backfired, and people caught on to it, and now he's ostracized. Shame. I think that's about it.
So how did he get caught?
Because I guess if you rabble that many tales, they start getting twisted. I have no idea. I wanted to get him on, but he said he was busy this evening, and my contacts at Guardians of the Galaxy were likewise did not want to appear just yet because the details are not all quite clear, and it may not be as simple as that article paints it, because I think that article's written by somebody who's directly affected it, and it could be just kind of his spin on it. So I don't know.
Well, more to come. I know from some of the high diplos that I've talked to that they often have spies and other alts in other groups. I don't know if they're often using them to actually plant information, but I know that that's a common role for the diplomat class.
I can confirm.
Speaking of diplomats, I did notice a few pictures going around on Twitter of the judge. He was very much stalked after. Was he kind of like shunned at all that you guys noticed, or was he kind of left alone?
He was actually not shunned. People actually walked up to him and most shook his hands just to make sure he still had him.
Ooh.
He kept sitting down next to me for some reason. I don't know why. But I did talk to him quite a bit, and whenever anyone would bring up something, he'd just give them 2 middle fingers.
Really?
Never
Both
once
hands,
did I see
yes.
him without him down. Yep.
So was it awkward at all?
Not really. Like, even at the Legacy dinner, it really wasn't that awkward. It's E Vegas. No one really cares about what you do in game. You're there because everyone's an Eve nerd. Everyone's there to have fun and talk to other Eve nerds.
It was more or less a meme than it was awkward.
Yeah. Okay. Moving along. So, Thursday night. Meredith, you were there. I wasn't. I watched it.
Thursday night.
I was like, let's see, do I remember that far back? Yeah, so Thursday night was the Open Comms Live from Vegas show, which featured many fun shenanigans, including Rain's mom and dad. I loved their shirts.
Their shirts were amazing.
Yeah, totally. For anyone that didn't see it, Rain's mom had a shirt that said Rain's mom, and Rain's dad had a shirt that said Rain's dad. It makes it very convenient and clever to follow. But they were super cute, nice, fun parents. But what went on in the behind the scenes there, Meredith?
Well, I mean, disclaimer, I started drinking at 11, which apparently, according to this crew, is amateur. Thanks to Random McNally and oh man, freaking spacing on names.
Roannan was there.
Roannan was there. Like, there was a whole bunch of us at 35, and we were just getting, we were hitting the flask.
Was Mom Bellico somewhere around that region?
She was around.
Yeah.
But we were drinking from early on, and we headed up after dinner. I luckily ate before then to go up to the Open Comms recording, which they did just outside of the convention room floor. And
yes, which is where you were not supposed to be drinking your own alcohol, as was clearly stated, but you did. Good for you guys.
Yeah, we were about 10 minutes from going on air, and one of the, I guess, runners of the convention center was like, you're not supposed to be drinking up here. And Dirk had 2 of the 40s of Tito's on the table with shot glasses lined up. And that's when Dirk almost pulled out all of his hair.
Was that before or after he man-kissed Roannan?
You know, Dirk's man kisses, they come and go. They're so frequent and often, you just can't keep track of them all.
It is true. He's a lover, not a fighter.
So the answer to that question would have been a yes.
At the same time.
So we dug right into the Open Comms. You guys can probably find the wreckage on YouTube or something. But yeah, it was a drunken shenanigans mess. There were a good about 30 people watching, a couple CCP devs, a bunch of players, a bunch of the regulars from the Open Comms chat, and guests. Great time. I love hanging out with those guys. It's always a great time. It's good to catch up with them as well.
Yeah, so if you were watching that stream, and I'm going to see if I can find some clips of it, Murdud had a solid wobble. At one point, I was looking at the screen. I was kind of doing other things while I was watching it, but you can see Murdud, and he was like, had this straight wobble going on. Face was looking straight at the camera, but he had this solid wobble happening.
You know how hard buttons are? Like, CCP obviously struggled with the buttons this weekend.
You weren't even pressing buttons. You were just standing there.
But standing is also very hard.
You're right.
But I tried my best.
Yeah, so this was pre-Vegas shenanigans. We haven't even gotten to day 1 at this point. This is day 0.
I mean, after that point, it was just like 35 all night. Pre and during open comms was the last time you would see Dirk undamaged. Post Thursday night, Dirk was damaged for the whole weekend. At some point on Thursday night, I think it was around 12:30, Dirk stumbled back into the party while I was going up to get another round of beers from my room. And I escorted Dirk back down to the bar where he stumbled around and kind of bumped into a couple people and got some pictures.
Mistake 1.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to watch Dirk, make sure he doesn't die, and just like bum around with him. Yeah, so I managed to watch him for maybe 30 minutes, and then he disappeared, and I sat down and talked to someone. Last thing I saw was Dirk stumbling off towards his room, and the next time I saw him, he had like a bruise the size of a large orange on the top of his forehead. Much to the chagrin of his wife and himself, because now he was just ridiculous in almost every picture he took. But shoutouts to Dirk, he still managed to party hard all weekend. He managed to get a couple more injuries after that, but yeah, fuck. That was just Thursday night.
Outstanding.
It was a good night.
Anybody else have any pre-day 1 parties?
Rejection of Sovereignty hosted a party, and we had almost 50 people in a 10-man suite.
That's a lot of sweat.
In which 3 people could not walk out under their own power. And Creature's a big man.
Oh, Creature was there? Nice.
Yeah.
Thursday night also had most of the coalition dinners. PL had about 90 people. Goons Imperium had about 130. Legacy had 20.
That is a lot of nerd in one spot. But I totally dig it. Sweet. So after that, you guys all drunkenly woke up around probably was it noon that they started the keynote?
The keynote was pretty early, but it wasn't that early.
I thought it was like 2 o'clock.
No, because it was. I thought it was around 2 o'clock my time.
Keynote was at 3. They had a 1 hour Welcome to Eve before that.
Yeah. Okay. So who went to that? Not me.
I don't remember.
Oh my god, you guys are out of control.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's a good thing that I have notes and we're gonna go over that and.
Well, I went to all of them.
Well,
I was definitely there. I was definitely there.
Virtually. I went virtually.
I don't know how much of my personality was there. On that day, I met up with a bunch of my corp mates. So shout out to my corp mates in Iron. Tridget was there. Malleus Raven was there. A new guy to our corp, I'm spacing on his name, was there. Grod is another guy from our corp. He showed up on the Saturday I found him. But yeah, a bunch of my corp mates and coalition mates were there. So we all met up on Friday, and then I started introducing them to all of the different Eve nerds. And like, oh, this is so-and-so. Meet him. This is so-and-so. We fought them. Meet them. Oh, that's a famous person. That's another famous person. That's someone you've heard of. Oh, you haven't heard of this person? This is what they do. Oh, shit. I know who that is. And I just did that for like 4 hours.
You fangirled out.
Well, not that I was fangirling. I was just a tour guide to the Eve personalities that these guys hadn't met in real life, but all knew from their reputations or personas in game.
Networking.
It was really fun to do. Like, it was probably the most fun part I had for my Vegas experience was showing these new players who are new to Vegas, essentially, the Vegas experience.
I found the best way to network is to buy $300 worth of booze before Vegas even starts.
That man ain't wrong.
That is a solid way to do it.
2 nights in a row.
Balla.
Oh, and if you make it rain Chris Hundos, they tend to listen.
That is definitely true.
It's true.
Twice.
At the same time.
Sorry,
Oh, yeah.
I'm unhappy with my background, so I'm just trying to fix it right now.
And according to Nalio in chat, that party was lit AF though. THO specifically.
Love you, baby.
All right, that is much better.
So anyway, did the partying, went to day 1, started meeting up with the court mates, schmoozing, networking, welcome to Eve ceremony, and then bam, keynote. We got some good stuff.
Now, the keynote was amazing. I was surprised how much new stuff was in it. I was betting on what new stuff I was expecting, and it surprised me on some of the things that were in it. It surprised me on some of the things that were left out, and it was surprised that some of the things that I knew was going to be there, I just knew it, were different than I expected completely.
Or pushed to later.
But let's get into it.
Let's do that. So I think one of the most important things, and when we had the CSM minutes a few weeks back, they had talked about, time zone tanking, and it's not really a healthy mechanic. And CCP was like, we know it's not healthy, but we're not going to change it because YOLO. But now, no more time zone tanking. Technically, the first timer will be on the behest of the attacker. So at any time, the Citadel can be attacked, and it will go into its first reinforcement. Dope.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's decent. I think that's good change.
Very good change.
Brings it much more parity with POS.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it always blew my mind that it's like you're telling me that I can only be attacked, or I can only attack this person during X time of the day. Like I didn't buy that.
Yeah, this was definitely a deeply and heavily asked for feature within the community, and from all the conversations that I had with players who were asking for what would they like to change in Eve, at every meetup I go to, Citadel tanking or Citadel time zone tanking and the annoyingness to clear out structures from that are just abandoned there was top 3.
Yeah, because a lot of people in wormhole space have been kind of debating about all this clutter that's been around, especially with corps that have been inactive for so long, as well as a lot of the crab holes in high class space now are going to be much greater danger.
Are a lot of the crab holes just inactive Astro houses or Fortizars?
So members of high class corps that live in PvP and C5 space, oftentimes to fund all of that, they have their own separate crab corp with just alts, so kind of running it bare minimum, and that's their ISK source. So
They leave it to where they can dock their capitals, and that's about as far as they need it.
And with the decay being linked to having a service module on, they frequently don't need or don't run service module. They just use it as a docking and tethering point.
Mm-hmm. Midway point, that's quote safe.
And to go even further too, I believe that with the next couple patches, they're gonna do away with who's farming, and that's been a pretty broken exploit.
So the next big feature that they announced through the keynote was another feature that is probably going to shake up wormholes quite a bit, is moon mining in wormholes and HiSec. And now, before you go make your angry forum post, it's not for moon goo in wormholes. It's just for regular minerals.
Well, no, I think they said it's no moon goo in high sec, It'll
No.
all just be. Is it? Am I wrong?
Not
It's
one of those
only
features.
it's 15% minerals or 50% ore, but they are
I thought there was going to be new materials that you're going to find in wormhole goo.
no. What they want to do is they want it to be 15% ores, but they are open to the idea of certain Mungo in the future. They're open to it, but they are in no way going to do it.
Flat out,
Okay.
Moonju would destroy the economy.
And
I-
moon mining in high sec is restricted to only 0.5 space.
And it's going to be only 15% too.
So obviously these two changes are both iterations on the new reaction system, which they're going to have to test it, right? One of the downsides that everybody knows about EVE is that there's no good testing community that you can effectively mass test these over a duration of time without seeing how it affects. And you can see that through the ascension or through the agency changes as they try new little features, see how it goes, and then maybe implement it further in the game or forget about it all completely. I think this is another one of those features where they're going to try it out in wormholes in high sec in 0.5s, see how it goes, see how much adoption there is, see how much it gets abused, and then they can further iterate on it and add more.
Yeah, with it being such a small, percentage and just in 0.5, it's a test bed. But I don't think that's the biggest change though.
Well, come
It's
on,
not.
2 major changes. Like they can't have any more big changes.
Yeah, they couldn't. They possibly couldn't fit that many changes in there, but they did.
Oh.
Alphas.
Oh, their age.
You didn't think alphas were a nuisance now. Wait until winter, and they become the most nuisance of all nuisances New Eden has ever seen. Why, Murdud?
So, one of the complaints they're apparently getting from alpha players, and especially returning players, is the weakness of their characters. And I'm sure you've heard an alpha player complain about being restricted to just one faction. Oh.
Which is stupid. Because it's freaking free. Go ahead and make all 4 ding dong and just figure out which one you like. Train them all at the same time, dude.
I disagree with that because if it's supposed to be an extended trial, it needs to have an actual level of playability, and no one plays with just one race only. As much as I love Galante ships, I need to fly Abar ships, or I need to be able to use these things.
All the things.
So I want to
And so I think that to have some sort of parody of an understanding of this limitation, or rather this trial aspect, it needs to have the ability to do pirate faction stuff too.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, it's supposed to be a stepping stone, and the whole point of having an alpha free account is not to be like, well, I want to have everything they have. It's to be like, hey, this is me getting into the game, learning the ropes, and if I've decided that I like it at this point, then I should start paying a subscription fee. Not like, oh, it's not fair that the paying customers get all the things. Well, no, it kind of is fair because that's how the economy and that's how business runs.
It's almost like a freemium model, right? Where you buy in a little bit and you almost get the benefits of a sub.
Yeah, it almost felt to me that like why. So let's go over some of the details of what they get. So they're going to get battle cruisers. They're going to get battleships, Tech 2 weapons, and it's no longer going to be a 5 million skill point cap. It will be a 20 million skill point cap. And I believe there's some sort of semantics on that where it's a 20 million skill point cap if you're returning from a non-alpha or from an omega status. Or is that
as an alpha, you cannot train over 5 million skill points.
right? So, but if you were omega and you've regressed to an alpha, you can maintain up to 20 million. Is that what I understand?
You can maintain all of the allowable skills that you have, which is all the battleships to 3, all the large weapons to 3, and all your Tech 1, Tech 2 weapons. Or small
Right.
weapons, Tech 2.
So it seems to me almost at this point, I might as well just turn all my accounts to alpha at that point, because why would I want to pay for it when I can get all that fun stuff for free?
You get no capitals, you get no technology, you have no scanning, no cloaking, no probing. There is a huge amount that's not in there.
How often do you use that in like regular like Friday Night Lights or day-to-day fleet?
Every day, actually.
I don't.
It's wormhole things.
Oh, okay. Obviously, you do.
There's
Also,
some,
aren't you still limited on T1 drones?
yeah, there are other restrictions there. Like you can only have T2 weapons up to mediums, so there's no VNIs with heavy drones. Well,
They haven't released the full skill set, so I don't know how much of a T2 tank they'll let you have.
no compensation skills.
Which hurt.
If they are maintaining the current skill set for tanking, you can fit T2 like extenders or plates, but not T2 resist modules.
Which, like, that limits you completely to your survivability. It's even in a battleship, even in a faction battleship.
And the other thing is that if you are an alpha player and you join the game and you train up to 5 million SP and you get to the cap and you're like, I just want to fly a Ferox. I just need enough SP for a Ferox, and you jam all those skills in the queue, and okay, you can almost get to your Alliance Doctrine Ferox, but you need 1.2 million skill points. You can go buy that 1.2 million skill points from the market, jam it in your head, and you can fly that Ferox forever.
Forever.
You just can't repeat the same thing past the 20 million skill points. You're going to cap out at that. But if you want to play in a smaller chunk, or you want to reinvest your ISK back into your character as SP, you can, up to a certain extent. And I think what they're going for here is a more competent alpha pilot who gets more of the full experience of EVE, which is playing all of the ships or more of the ships and having the diversity of weapon systems and getting a feel for everything.
I am 100% going to remain true to my statement. If they want to do that, it's a free account. Get 4 freaking accounts. I know CCP is trying to be fair, but that's not the way EVE needs to be. If you want to play the game to a certain level, you have to pay for it.
I feel like battleships were a mistake. I agree with a lot of what they've done, but an alpha and a Battlegorn just seems ridiculous to me.
Like these alphas can do level 4 missions. They can farm out Plex. They can Plex their account and get them to the point where they can then experience everything else and then want to sub.
I think that it has twofold of reason. First and foremost is or 3 reasons. First and foremost is exactly as Nawa said, get these people introduced to the fuller experience of EVE, because no one really does T1 cruisers and fleets. Like, you might do kitchen sink, you might do Newbro fleets, but they're not the main fleet. Like, they're not the main things that people fly with, and they're not easy ways to make ISK that you might need to, say, sub. Or to buy Plex so that way from the market so you can sub. Second, I think that they're also trying to increase player count. And when you increase player count, you're going to increase it more because you're going to see more of those big battles. You're going to see more of the big, flashy political events that make it to the news media or the news outlets. Like, they want EVE to be bigger again. And the way to do that is to make sure that the older players who have played the game can say, okay, I can do this without any money now, or without risk. Or get more or give more to newer players that want to be able to be part of those big, massive battles.
And continue.
Yeah, I just personally don't think that this change is gonna usher in a new wave of players, because I don't know if anybody remembers this last fan fest. Well, it was last year when they introduced alphas. Now this last fan fest, they talked about, well, they didn't want to really market the alpha thing too much because they didn't know if it was ready, this and that. But here we are now, a year later, and they're still not marketing this. So is it ready or is it not ready? So that could be a hang up in this whole dream of getting more new players. If nobody knows about it, what does it matter?
Well, you gotta see that multiple products and I actually talked briefly with the someone from CCP's promotional department, but with these other Eve products out on the market, and especially CCP products, they can keep pushing out these changes. And if you may have noticed from other gaming media sites or maybe from Twitter, every time one of these big changes that expands opportunities within the community, whether it was the Warzone patch to Valkyrie or even this alpha change, the same way that the original alpha announced was heavily promoted by the other gaming sites, it's going to bring in new players. People want to see the new stuff they get access to. And especially if you're a player who've put 2 years into the game, or you've quit once or twice and you're considering coming back, you're going to get access to all those skills again, and you can come check out new refineries and see if the game has changed to a point you're ready to play again.
I completely agree. I think that this is more of a means to also get older players back rather than get new players.
Yeah, I'd agree more on that side.
There's something I'm missing there.
Is there?
I don't know. I'll take more players.
And when it comes to Eve, I think that they need more players constantly to have the big battles because the big battles are their own free publicity. It's a self-feeding machine.
I remembered what it was. They've obviously given it enough time since the release of alphas that they also haven't seen us Omega characters find a way to heavily abuse alphas, other than the problems they had with ghost training. Besides that, there hasn't been any other dramas around, like people using 500 alts to spam all of Black Rise for every novice complex. Like, I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've heard any drama about that. So obviously, like, the structures they have in place behind the scenes to keep alphas restricted to one account per computer, sure, run 4 laptops in sequence on your desk, go for it. But like, we haven't found a way to abuse it to the levels that we just find a way to abuse Omega characters.
I do think it's good overall, but this change, especially with battleships, is highly abusable. I've already run the numbers, and you have something that's highly numbers dependent, an Alpha Maelstrom. Compared to a full Tech 2, an Alpha Maelstrom running on an Alpha, so an Alpha Maelstrom, does 30% less damage and has 15% less tank. So it is very, very close.
Oh, did I forget to mention that I figured out how to VMware several Alpha accounts on my computer? Did I fail to mention that?
We all just assumed.
Yes, you can totally do it. So that whole having 4 laptops things, that's not a thing. I can actually have as much as my RAM can handle. I've got 32 gigabytes of RAM. I can do a lot of VMs.
Yeah, Black Wicket reiterates, like a 50 million plus SP character coming back to 5.5 million SP is not going to stick around for very long, but 20 mil is definitely a different story.
And they'll be able to fit into fleet doctrines a lot better.
Well, to take a step back to the exploit thing, is it really exploitative to CCP if somebody pays for like 4 months of sub time to get to there?
No, but I'm just too lazy to run more than 2 accounts, so I just assume anything more than 2 is cheating.
I mean, Wormholer is the land of multi-box.
Is it? Have
Yes.
you been a nullsec?
I think that stuff still hasn't been a nullsec enough. We don't let them out a lot.
For good reason.
Mhm.
All I know is 7 rattlesnakes are a thing.
Yeah, but that's not 16 Rorquals or 32 Rorquals, or I guess they just go up in exponential numbers, right? So 64.
We're talking in binary here?
Intended. You see, it's still like not. It's not making the intended target of what Eve was trying to, or what CCP was trying to go for.
What is CCP trying to go for nowadays?
Well, I would like to think that CCP is going for, hey, let's entice some new players. Let's bring some new friends into the fold instead of, hey, let's just make it to where, a player can have 50 fucking alts, ratting for free.
I disagree.
What?
I think she's... Sorry, go ahead, Mosquito.
As a personal experience, though, I talked to one of my coworkers to actually start an alpha account. and expressing these changes to him, he's actually getting pretty excited about it in terms of being able to pick it up and put it down at his leisure at more of a casual pace.
I think CCP nowadays is developing their model so that they can continue making money from EVE Online into the long-term future. And the long-term future does not exist under a full subscription model, which is a model that is pretty much non-existent left in the gaming community, where players who are fine with the subscribing and enjoy the high-level gameplay slowly peter out of the game as we get too old and too involved in real life that we can't deal with this game until there's another spike in 20 years where all of us free all our free time up because we all have adult children and we all can come back to the game and be a Spurglorg for 24-hour a day kind of log into Jita and fuck with people.
I don't want to be playing this game in 20 years.
If I'm playing this game in 20 years, kill me.
Yeah.
If I'm playing this game in 20 years, I want like actual copies of my blueprints.
Oh,
Physical blueprints.
do you think Kyle will make me a Diplo in 20 years?
No.
No,
I've been playing for almost 15 years already.
but no, that doesn't really count.
You're not people.
I think the community could keep us here playing 20 more years. And I think the way that CCP is developing their product through the constant upgrading of the art, the continued but modest development time that's put into the game, they're obviously not keeping us on life support. They're not just tweaking features to make sure the servers don't crash. They're still putting development time into putting out new features every year. And that keeps us interested, it keeps us involved, where really if you let the server sit and just made balance tweaks for the next 5 years,
It dies.
it dies, but we could continue playing it forever. Like, it doesn't matter.
I legitimately think that Eve would need an Eve 2 just for a code reason if it were to last more than 10 more years.
Please do. Can I roll back a second?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think the collective hangover from 20 more Eve Vegases will kill me.
No, just think about it as one Eve Vegas each year. Just like one day each.
Okay. I'm sorry, we can move ahead now.
Hold on.
To Nalio in Twitch there, his statement was, there is no community like Eve, no other community like Eve, but they should advertise it some. And I think that's what they're trying to do with supporting Twitch streamers from the Eve community on their Twitch streams. I think pumping up and promoting the diversity of Eve player meets out there. I know we haven't got into it yet, but another feature that was discussed in the first section of the just before the keynote, when it was like the CCP Welcome to Eve, they announced that they're going to do, or maybe it was during the closing. Fuck, I can't remember. It all blurred together. But they're going to do FanFest over 4 parts in 2019, and they're going to take their money and time and invest it into player meets around the world, more than just putting all of their time and effort into 2 events, FanFest and Vegas, and a little bit into Eve Down Under and Eve Amsterdam. They're gonna.
What is that? Advertising?
Yeah, because what better advertising for the Eve community and of the Eve game than the players who play it themselves? I think we are some of the best advertising if we could just push our podcast onto someone who's never played and we could hype them up about how crazy and complicated the game is and how that is all player made, it's all player created, and you can be the person who is taking down an alliance with their no hands, or like building it up from the ground to amazing.
If a nerd farts on the internet and nobody's around to hear it, did the nerd actually fart?
Was it still funny?
No, it was not. There's no meme about it. It was not hilarious. There was no YouTube video because nobody knew.
No meme didn't happen.
See?
Sorry, I'm
Didn't
back.
happen. I guess our views of advertisement is mixed, because I feel like there should be more of a general public presence than just like a, hey, word of mouth, have you played this cool game? Let me tell you about it. Because I can bet everyone in this chat room and in the Twitch chat room, has told everyone they know, "Well, you should play Ivy online." And all of about like 1 to 0 of them actually went and did it.
I had a friend who did it. She got into a mammoth and hauled stuff around for 3 days and put it down.
Yep, exactly. I had a friend do the same thing. He started playing, had an Amaro character, got an Armageddon, thought it was the coolest thing in the world. It got blowed up, he quit.
Well, so I mentioned my coworker who started playing as an alpha and got turned out from it. So, like, with this new system, he could totally sub for 2 months into a co-op ship and be able to hang out with my corp, which is something that wasn't available before.
Would they let you keep your Grovops in the new alpha?
Oh, wait.
No.
Sorry.
No cloak for alphas.
But like, you could present the easiest board game to 10 people, and only 4 of them are going to be interested. And then you take those 4 people and introduce them to a medium challenging difficulty board game, and 2 of them are going to be willing to play it. And then you take a really, really hard, super long board game that takes 5 hours to play, and there's 300 pages of rules, but it's the best fucking board game you've ever played because the complexity and depth of the game is super amazing, and probably 0 of those 2 remaining people are going to play.
But I think some of that background though is on it is when you tell these people about it, they typically may have heard of it or know of it, but their preconceived notion of what it is and the people who are in it, that's what sways them in the other direction.
I had a coworker, and he found out I played Eve, and he panicked so hard because he heard about the bloodbath that happened a while back, the biggest space battle in all of gaming history.
Shakar?
Yes, BTAC-R. And he's like, that game sounds super expensive. How can you even handle it? And he never read into it and never realized that that was just a conversion. So when I told him that, he started playing it for all of a week. And then he's like, oh my God, there's nothing to do here because nothing was explained to him. And
Well, I mean, this
Just
comes
died.
into an issue of why it's hard, why player retention is hard, and that's because traditional MMOs let you play solo for a while. Like, Eve is actually my first MMO, somehow. And a couple of months ago, I started playing Final Fantasy XIV because a bunch of my friends were playing it. And I played it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I can actually play this game solo. And I just played it for like a month, and I got bored because like there's a storyline and all this stuff.
who cares?
But with Eve, like because I'm integrated into a corp, because I'm integrated into a group I talk to as friends, I'm a lot more engaged and involved in the game. But if I were to play Eve as as a traditional MMO where I did the storyline quest to save the Mimitar Republic or whatever, I would get bored because this game doesn't teach you how to play the game. Like, Final Fantasy XIV told me how to play the game, but Eve never has, and that Eve will never be able to properly tell you. So it's a problem with Eve itself. Like, you can't play Eve and get explained. The thing is that lots of people are afraid of going to player corps. Sometimes they hear about the scams, or they might hear about how people are jerks, or just how hard it is to make risk. So, like, it's Eve isn't hard to play, but Eve is the incline, the learning curve is a social learning curve. You have to pull yourself away from that solo mentality to play Eve.
Oh yeah, and there's like, without getting too deep into it, I mean, there's 10 other things that you could easily list off that are restrictions to players who want to really get into Eve, whether it's social gameplay, whether it's the desire to have everything handed to them, whether it's the want for a game where they can pick it up, put it down, and it doesn't matter, whether it's the want for something ease and exciting but not complex and informative. It's there's a million things out there that would restrict someone from not actually integrating well into the game. But We can't overcome that. We don't want to change our game too much. We just want to support people in the ways that they enjoy the game, they start the game, and then they maybe hit a wall. We want to help remove those walls. And
But it's nice to say we want to remove those walls, but a lot of the walls are built by the people who are coming in my opinion.
oh, for sure. I mean, there's people who self-identify as wanting to be solo players and never have to talk on comms. Well, I mean, welcome to gaming from 10 years ago. Everyone talks on comms.
Like, you can play Eve without comms. You just can't play Eve by yourself, because we have a person who in our alliance that doesn't talk. I don't think that we've ever heard them talk, and we love them. Like, they still chat on like our Discord, but they're not going to ever cue their voice. And it's just the solo play is the ultimate problem.
And I love that person to death. He uses fleet pings for everything. In position, what does that mean? I don't know.
And that goes back to the point we had originally made, that Eve is all about the community. And communities are only really built by people interacting.
Andrew and Spartan, thanks for the second month subscribe in a row. Appreciate it. Okay, so we've already been doing at this for an hour. We should probably move along to the next few things. So do we want to cruise through the rest of day one type of stuff?
Well, I wanted to get into one of these barriers that I hope they're actually taking down, which is the content delivery system, the new agency, where they
Correct.
showed that off in the keynote, where it's an advancement on the map, where you can have a randomized list. I know this was kind of went in more on day 2 when they had the full presentation on it, but it's a randomized section of 4 missions and then 6 other activities you can do, and then you can filter it down to mining, combat, or other, and it can give you motivation on something to do within the sandbox, where if you don't know what to do, here's some things you can go do.
So it's like the missions, or like the agents, just in an easier UI to make it easier for people who are used to more traditional MMOs.
Exactly. And if you picked up on what they were showing in the art presentation, which I watched today in post because I was distracted by a lore roundtable, in the arts presentation, they even showed pre-models for showing the whole character model of the agent that you're getting a mission from, or just the big face of the agent you're getting it from, to help it bring more personal flair to the character you're getting a mission from, which is another feature of other MMOs that help you personalize and connect with the agents in a way greater than it's a box of text, go save the thing, mine the stuff, bring it back to the station.
So like the alpha like messages that you get?
Yeah.
Like the pop-up face talking?
Yeah, and Affinity also mentioned that they're looking into doing more voice acting clips within the client. She feels that Aurora should talk to you more, and all that to give like a more personal feel to the player who's coming into this huge sandbox and isn't ready to have a social group or hasn't joined a social group yet, but still wants the game to talk back to them in a modern kind of advanced game, the way that most games do.
I think you should also remind the listeners that Eve has sound.
It does.
Wait,
It's true.
what?
I don't know why people don't use sound. I like the sound, if not for at least like the shield and capacitor and stuff going down.
Sound creates heavy lag once you're over 1,000 people in the system.
That Nama gives the nullsick answer.
I mean,
I use sound.
I've been told I have to because, like, wormholes apparently make a noise when you go through them. I've never heard it.
It is
They
true.
do.
Half the time
Stuffs.
I've been living here for 2 years, and you're telling me I missed cues?
Stuffs, are you like partially deaf or something? Because it makes really noticeable sound.
Well,
No, I'm just always jamming out to, rock music.
so it's definitely wub wub.
No, it's not wub wub.
It's like a wobble wobble wobble.
Yeah, see what he did.
That's okay. Whatever. I'm good at this game, I promise.
Other features they announced in the keynote are more agency events coming all the way through Christmas, including the Battleship Brawl for when the new alpha changes come out. There was also some amazing looking skins for the Blood Raiders Halloween event, with featuring the bright white Blood Raider face strategically located on the ship models. Shout out to the Tristan model. Oh shit.
Yeah, those were super dope.
I like how the first wave of skins were just like color palettes, and now we're getting like actual icons now.
Yeah, there was a decent amount of hype around the Amar legacy, or the Amar, like the anniversary of Emperor Katniss the First. The purple and
Katniss
gold with the Amar logo like on the purple. That thing looks sick. I mean, on the Providence, wow.
Yeah, but that's Icky Amar. Bunch of zealots.
Freaking lasers. One downside was that the outpost transformation, due to the push for these changes, which I don't know if we named it the way they did, but the changes that they're proposing for structures are the Upwell Structures 2.0 is what they're calling it. So with the
pillars.
Yes. But with the dev time placed towards those changes, they've had to push back outpost transformation to later in 2018. So the gold rush for all the faction citadels has been pushed back to a little bit later into Q1 of 2018.
TM.
Yeah, CCP. All right. Any other big things? I mean, the other thing I was a little bit sad about was that the trailer we showed at the beginning of the podcast tonight was the trailer from the keynote. It wasn't your typical cinematic trailer. I mean, last year's with Wrecking Machine was amazing, and I still get chills when I watch that trailer, but this one was more of a feature tour with...
We got to watch it twice.
Yeah.
And then they linked it, so we can watch it a third time.
It wasn't the cinematic experience I was hoping, but I mean... I was hoping for a new song from Permaban too, but hopes and dreams.
They didn't?
There was no new song, no.
They did like 2 songs and walked off, didn't they?
They did 4 at the party.
Oh, well, I was drunk.
We were all drunk.
Steph's, when weren't you drunk?
When did we show up?
You did Thursday, I don't know.
I was sober for the plane ride, and that was a mistake. And then I think I overcompensating trying to forget.
You saw things, didn't you?
Delta.
And then following the keynote, they had the CCP Presents, and it started off with a note from Seagull, who's off on maternity leave, so she was not able to be at Vegas, but we were joined by Hilmar, which is first time to Vegas.
It was, yeah.
So his big thing that he wanted to announce was that there was an average of 18% increase in active daily users of EVE, and most of those are returning players, not just fresh new players, which that's exciting. I mean, each new player is potentially another 5 new players when they make all their kids fly their mining barges.
It's a great way to teach math to get children.
It is, actually.
CCP also hyped their other projects, including Project Nova, which we had a news article out on Eve News 24 about a third-party developer that's going to be helping on Project Nova. Kale, you want to go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, I suppose it could. So there's a developer by the name of Sumo Digital. They've primarily done I think they've done a lot of first-person shooters, but I don't think anywhere in the sci-fi realm. Um, but yeah, they're going to be taking over. As of today, they were announced via Twitter that they will be the primary developer of Project Nova, which is still expected to release in 2018, and that is roughly all we know of it so far.
I mean, I'm presuming it's still going to be like a squad shooter. It's probably going to be tied in the
Yeah.
EVE assets, but not tied to
Yeah.
EVE itself. But, I mean,
I doubt that it's going to be tied like Dust was.
no.
Only because it's third party.
I hope it is, but I don't think it will be.
I think CCP has taken the full step of pulling their new content away from the EVE universe, and I think I heard one of the devs say they'd like to establish that piece of the community is going to stick around and be strong and develop into a long-term game before they try to put it into EVE, which is obviously going to continue to bumble along, plus or minus player count.
Even if it's not like integrated within the game, I would still like to see it fit in lore-wise. You know, much to how we're having war zones kind of now fitting in with the Valkyrie, between Valkyrie and EVE Online. So hopefully there's a more, I don't know, fluid feeling that it belongs in the universe, not just like, oh, it's this other side project, you know?
I was bummed they didn't bring a demo.
I think it might be a little bit far off demo stage still.
They've had a demo.
But
Yeah.
now it's for the new developer, right? So maybe they change things. Maybe they put it on a new engine. Who knows?
Maybe it'll never happen. Who knows?
Yeah, it was a year and a half ago, I think. FanFest.
Yeah.
What's the average cycle time of a title, a B title?
Depends. Is it done by Robert Space Industries? Because that one's about 10 years, I think.
Spicy. I'm thinking it's 4 years. I'm thinking that's kind of the build time of a title, unless you're just putting an iteration out of a title like Call of Duty World War 2.5. And those games often look shit right before the release anyways. And those teams are huge. So another third-party developer that CCP has employed or partnered with to bring out another EVE product is Project Aurora, this was the first announcement of this project. And this is apparently CCP's first step into the mobile game market, trying to key into what is probably the biggest market out there in gaming right now, which is mobile games.
So I know they had working demos there, right?
They did.
So
iOS only.
So you think it's kind of developed further along than Project Nova is at this point?
I didn't get a chance to play it, but I saw people playing it, and it looked like there was stuff going on, and they were moving things around, and it's been in development for about a year.
What kind of game would we call this?
It's more of a strategy game. There's still space control. There's mining. There's harassment fleets. There's all this kind of stuff. It's a very EVE-like.
Have you ever played Galaxy at War?
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Is it like that?
It seems like it to me.
So they're just copy and pasting a game that already exists.
Well, that's what most of the mobile games are anyways, is kind of like repeats on established kind of markets.
And also, it's more of also that you know what you want to go toward. You want to replicate it in a manner, and so it's easier to use concepts from others than to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, those games are pretty addicting. I mean, I've played a handful of those kind of mobile games on the bus, and they usually last in my interest level for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But I mean, what's in that market that we don't already have now is a majority of women, and especially a majority of women who have a disposable income, but not the time to invest into long form games. They just want something quick, easy, and to be done with it and move on to the rest of their day.
Or something to check, like okay, I'm gonna check my phone in 8 hours when the activity's been completed or whatever.
Right. So, I mean, that's a huge market. And then you spin that off into players who are taking the enjoyment of that mobile game and then know that all of that art asset and all of that gameplay is kind of similar to what's a free game out there in the world. And they can actually log onto a computer and start playing that as well. That's a really cool opportunity to increase the marketing presence of EVE into communities that don't typically get involved in such a long-form game such as EVE.
See, so I have recently started playing Final Fantasy 15, the mobile game. I've never once played any of the Final Fantasy console games, nor do I have any plans to do so based upon my fun with the mobile game. So,
No relation.
Aesthetics.
I mean,
I don't know if that argument carries.
I mean, I've played Final Fantasy 11 or 12 or something, and because of my connection to that game, I want to try out the Final Fantasy mobile game.
Well, I want to play the EVE Online mobile game because I play EVE Online.
There we go. They've marketed it to both of us in different ways.
Don't use your reverse psychology on me, madam.
Yeah, so that's a cool new project. Players got to play all weekend, and 2 players got awarded Samsung Galaxy 8s based on their high level count at the end of the weekend, which I didn't even bother trying because Canadian cell phone plans via America.
You could have just sold it.
I would have.
The new phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a Google Pixel. Why would I want that piece of shit?
I mean, yeah, sweet. I think the players in the beta test got up to level 9, whatever that meant. Power level 30.
It's over 9,000 actually, but yeah.
Beautiful.
Boo.
Obligatory.
Get your weebery out of here.
Okay, DBZ was before Weeb.
DBZ created them.
What's going on right now?
I made a reference and he doesn't approve.
Talking about the origins of anime or something.
We're trying to cleanse Weebery from our alliance. I apologize for him, just in general.
Someone has to, because I sure as hell ain't.
So we've hit 3 of the CCP products. We have 3 left to go. The 4th one, Gunjack 2, they talked about that ever so briefly. That's number 4. Number 5 is EVE Valkyrie Warzone, which I figured they'd go into more of a deep dive into what's going on in Warzone and the 2D expansion, but they just kind of glossed over it and gave a brief overview. But there was also a chance to play EVE Valkyrie Warzone at the event, which I got it to do. I know, Kale, you're playing it at home now?
Playing the shit out of it.
You really enjoying it?
Oh, I love it. I can just log right in. Pew pew. I've done all the storyline type missions, and I'm starting to work on the echoes, I believe they're called. And I every once in a while get in and play a match against other people. I'm not great, but I'm a lot better at that than I am at other space shooter games like Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous. I cannot land a ship in Elite Dangerous. Period.
Beautiful. Yeah, I enjoyed playing a little bit on the desktop there, and I'm definitely going to pick it up here in the next month or 2 once my finances recover. And there's only one more we've missed, and that is Spark. Spark is the 6th title that CCP is working on right now. You say that.
It's like the Tron thing, right?
It's like the Tron thing. It was
quite a bit of fun.
Yeah, so disregard it if you want from a distance. Playing it is very, very, very fun.
What's that game that's Valve made before Half-Life that reminds me of this? Ricochet. It reminds me of Ricochet, in every way possible.
it has a space in the current gaming environment because there are more and more virtual reality stores opening up for people to play this kind of thing.
So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Spark, you wear the VR headset, you put on some headphones, it's all connected on a cord off the back. You got your PlayStation Move cameras set up at the two angles, so it picks up your full body. So then when you're standing at the other end of this corridor, like, I don't know what it kind of estimates, like 30 meters away from the other person, you can throw the ball and it can ricochet off of any of the surfaces in front of you, and you're trying to hit the other person with the ball. Just like a 1v1 dodgeball.
Like Ricochet?
I've never played Ricochet, so...
Is it like Pong? It's like Pong, right?
No, it's literally like dodgeball.
But like Pong. Okay, I got you.
Nope. Pong, you're not trying to let it get behind you, like hockey.
I can imagine just like you're playing this 1v1 against somebody in the same room and you like whack the shit out of them across the fucking grape on accident.
Oh, it's gonna happen if if you don't strap it.
There's going to be a disclaimer on there. Warning, make sure you have at least 5 feet in between you and the other player.
I strongly doubt you're going to play it in the same room as another player because you'd have to have 2 PSVRs.
Listen.
No one's that rich.
I don't like your logic.
But you would
be talking about like more of those mall type VR experiences and how it could also be a more casual market like that.
Definitely.
I got a Chuck E. Cheese.
But it was really fun. Like you really get into throwing the ball. The harder you throw your arm with the remote, obviously, the harder the ball goes. It's not like the Wiimote bowling where you just have to flick your wrist really hard and the ball will go. You have to get like a full baseball swing every time you're trying to throw the ball down court.
I played a couple rounds with my fiance and it started to get pretty heated.
Yeah. And like my arms are a bit sore from making those funny movements, which I'm not typically using. And I propose standing in line. Like there could be options for doubles. There could be options for like 5v5 dodgeball style where you only have a certain number of balls. And you have to like punch to block. You can use your shield to block. You can bat it with your shield. There's all kinds of cool shit they could do that game. And it was really fun to play in real life. The challenge with marketing and selling that game is getting people to actually try it. But I could see some people getting fit from playing a game like that.
So I have to sidetrack us again real quick. It's what I'm good at. Is there any way I can get my image fixed for this podcast?
Oh, I thought he fixed it already.
What? I can fix something.
Yeah, he's been Kyle Parthos this whole time.
You are now Kyle Parthos.
No, please no. God, I'm joining test.
I need you to fuck me, Draper.
Look, only Creature gets to say that.
No, Creature doesn't get to say that. Creature gets to say that about everyone.
No, look. I've known Creature longer than you. He's my friend.
And you know what he needs from me, right?
To fuck him.
John, have you hugged him?
No, I haven't actually met him.
You know, Creature gives the best hugs.
I've heard this from several different people. Creature
You're
does
welcome.
do good hugs.
Yeah, but I'm also like an inch shorter than Kyle, so I just feel like that he'll just like engulf me and absorb me into him.
You mean like he's gonna do Denosov into all of like Suad, right?
Yes. I mean that's our plan. That's why capitals, yeah.
So anyways.
Sorry. Sorry.
Merdud steps away for 5 seconds, and this is what happens. So are we done? We're done with that, right? Are we gonna go into the pub crawl, Merdud, or are we gonna have to break this up in a 2-parter? Because I can continue again tomorrow evening if we have to break this up.
Same.
I think that would probably be wiser because it's already going an hour and 15 or so.
Yeah, we're almost there. I mean, I just fixed your image, so you can stop complaining now.
It's true. He did fix the image.
You did just
I think
fix.
I legitimately know Stuffs wants to like spend an hour or two just talking about the no soft parties.
Just the parties.
I mean,
wish I could.
I wasn't at the pub crawl, so I mean, people pub crawled.
I think I'm the only one here who went, and I drank a lot of alcohol and rode the Ferris wheel. It was a lot of fun.
The high roller?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Well, I think overall the next few days of CCP presentations are relatively. We can go over that pretty quickly, and then we can do like after show style of parties.
Sure, yeah. I mean, day 2 had breakdowns of all of the topics that we just covered there. There was the structures talk. There was the agencies talk. There was stuff on the... pretty much everything. Everything was covered. There was a ships and modules balance session where we... Rise went over their new proposals for changing and modifying hacks and assault frigates, which is pretty exciting. They've suggested a new type of damage control to modify those 2 lines of ships. This damage control will be called the assault damage control at the moment. I mean, TM, these things change, but it's going to be a low slot module. It's going to have passive damage control bonuses, and then you can activate it for a short burst of very high resistance bonus. So like 75, 80 was kind of like the numbers they showed.
Tech 1 was 70 across the board, and Tech 2 was 80.
Yep. For 20 seconds, and then a 150 second reactivation delay.
Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty cheap fit, too. It's only 30 CPU and like 45 activation cost. I don't see a power grid here.
So yeah, this gives an option for assault cruisers and assault frigates to blow that thing, get in range, tackle, or activate it just as they become primary, giving them a slightly different role than the other ships that fit their niche, like T3s and cruisers and battle cruisers. And then within the frigate class, T3 frigate or T3 destroyers and Tech 2, other Tech 2 frigates, pirate frigates.
It helps to reinforce their role as a fleet ship.
I mean, there's a reason for me to use a sacrilege instead of a Loki now.
Yeah, so that was an exciting change. I mean, I'm all for these new paths that CCP wants to take on new features that kind of break the tools of the game. Like, how exciting are microjump field generators? How exciting are bombs? How exciting are, like, the interesting boost mechanics with the supers that can, like, GTFO people? Like, those are cool mechanics that break kind of the standard lock a target, shoot a target, warp off.
I think you missed the most important aspect of day 2 for CCP's Vegas.
Continue.
Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I think the most important aspect of day 2 here in Las Vegas, Nevada, live on stream, was our one and only Mirdud, alongside Nikolai Mazinkov and Dominark from the Clue Space Nerds, sat down with CCP Mimic and talked about this very podcast.
Yeah. I did stop by the Eve TV stream. I appreciate them letting me come on and shuck about the community. I know there wasn't a ton of opportunities to give shout-outs. I was looking for an opportunity to give more shout-outs to my corp and stuff, but
I don't know if you were like that hungover or if you were nervous. It looks like you're more hungover.
I was a little bit of both, mind you.
Was it because Mimic is so beautiful and she just makes you nervous?
I mean, Mimic makes everyone nervous.
Yeah. Isn't she tall? Well, taller than Guard, but who isn't, right? Padanch.
I mean, honestly, I didn't want to say something really fucking dumb in front of 7,000 people.
Well, I apologize, but I need to go. I'll see you all later, and thank you very much for having me.
All right,
Bye,
man.
John.
Got a shout out you want to give?
Yes, actually I do. I want to hype rejection of sovereignty. Let me get our ad from Reddit. Right now, we are having a contest in which people who give blood can join our channel and give proof that they've given blood within the month of October to gain prizes. Anything ranging from 5 billion to faction fit Balgorns to just random piles of Blood Raider ships. It is all month. And let me get you the link so that way people can hype it. We are calling it the Blood Harvest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here you go.
The Blood Harvest.
Whoa.
Blood for the blood.
Okay, I put it in our or I put it in the lobby. But everyone is welcome. Join us, talk to us, hang out with No Software, a rather cool bunch, and don't do some good in order to get a chance at winning something good.
I'd like to elaborate. It is a raffle. If you donate blood and take a picture with your in-game name on it as proof, you are entered into the raffle automatically.
Yes.
And we have a backer who has pledged 5 billion ISK to this and says he will double that if we get 50 confirmed donations. So, y'all go out there and do some good.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, yeah, just that and No Software is recruiting. I'll see y'all there.
We are the perfect sidetracks.
Other cool
Okay,
pool.
bye.
Other cool presentations from day 2 was the shipyards and the future of PvE with what may be my new favorite dev, CCB Burger.
Love that, man.
He's pretty cool dude, I think.
He didn't go to bed with those shoes, but he woke up with them.
Yeah. Those are pretty nice shoes, though.
They were.
Really nice.
That was a really funny story. And then he after his presentation and his roundtable, he invited all of the nerds out to go to In-N-Out Burger to have a burger with burger.
I mean,
Okay, have you ever had In-N-Out before, Murdod?
Once before, during 2015 Eve Vegas and the Drunken Shenanigans.
What are your thoughts? I know it's a little off track, but what are your thoughts?
I had it twice on Saturday. It was good.
Okay, so I'm was raised in California my entire life. Wasn't born there, but I was raised there from the age of 2 on until 27. I left there. I never turned back. But even here in Texas and other places, In-N-Out is still my go-to burger, and we have an In-N-Out here locally. So yay for that. But that's my shit.
Yeah, a lot of my corp had never tried it before, and they thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then that's just the standard menu, and then you dive into the secret menu with animal fries, 4x4s, and Flying Dutchman. Fries well done. Who knows what else is on the secret menu?
What the fuck are animal fries?
Okay, so animal fries are just fries, double dips, so they're nice and crunchy, and then they layer it with some chopped up beef patties, grilled onions, and the sauce.
They are amazing.
Fucked everyone's mind, I know.
I'm so hungry now. Okay, we need to stop talking about food. We can also talk about the 2 player presentations from that day. Both friends of the show, Mike Azariah and Matterall. Mike's was on Winning in Eve. Really good presentation on choosing your own goals and setting them and then trying to win. There was also good hockey references. So
yeah. Mike had a good stream, although he did break the stream a couple times. I don't know if it was his fault in particular, but it's possible.
Might have been. And then Matterall's was on the history continuum within EVE Online.
He did it kind of in the style of what's his name? The guy who wrote the story.
Andrew Groen.
In the style of Andrew Groen, but a little bit further along than where Andrew Groen left off.
Aha, because you can talk about the newer stuff if you're mana raw.
It's true.
All these videos are on the video on demand on CCP's Twitch, but I'm sure it'll all make it up on the YouTube. You can check those things out. A lot of it was just iterations on what they brought out this year, what they're talking about for this year, and what's hopefully going to maybe sort of come out. No promises. Definitely watch the shipyards and future of PvE, because that stuff is going to be coming to all regions of space. The forward operating bases, the shipyards for the other capital, or all the other races that don't have a shipyard right now, and the mining events, which there is a ton of new tools. CCP Burgers is a tool producer. There are a ton of new tools within the mining events, which are going to be, if they function obviously correctly, because EVE is a test bed for EVE, will be brought out to the other parts of space, including how many ships you've killed, individual objectives, listing how far in progress bars on certain multiple different objectives. That could play into capture the flag kind of fights. That could play into new agency events where you have to kill a number of rats in a certain amount of time. There's all kinds of cool potential within the tools that they've developed for these simple mining events.
Achievements confirmed?
Potentially. They have a tool for it now. I mean, they didn't before, right? Shipyards, the original iteration of Shipyards, was just a tool to show that they could use the AI and spawning in ships that behave like players, not like NPCs, into the game. And I mean, we broke it, and we re-broke it, and then we re-broke it, and they keep trying to fix it and keep trying to make it better. And they say that they're going to continue to iterate upon that, with each of the different factions' shipyards getting different types of abilities. Apparently the Garistas ones are just going to jam us all. Like, I hope you bring friend or foe missiles. And I mean, if you weren't drunk enough from the previous 2 days, the end of Saturday was party night. Oh my gosh. Now, the party was at Dre's. This is a club on top of the Cromwell. It's a mix of like an indoor club area with booths and different bars and the stage area where Permaban was going to play. And on the outside were cabanas, indoor little booths, a big pool right down the middle, and a second tier above that where you can look down onto everything that's going on around the pool, as well as out onto the rest of the Las Vegas Strip. It was a really cool club. It was really, really big. I was always felt kind of congested and crowded in the upstairs area of Chateau. We probably would have been okay if we used both areas of Chateau, but it wouldn't work as well. Dre's really fit our huge community. Agree, disagree?
It was a great party. I had a lot of fun there.
I remember grinding up against Kyle at Barthos. That's about it. Creature was there too.
I had a blast. I think I posted that picture that my CEO caught of me and my fiance in action.
Nice.
Wait, what in action?
Were you the one in the dress?
No, we were like about to storm off to the dance floor because we just heard our jams.
Mm.
And when you hear your jam, like what else are you gonna do?
Yeah. It was a great party. I mean, we got stopped after the first time we hit the bar, and I took 5 beers, and then they changed the rules because, damn it.
So you're the reason why we can't have nice things.
No, it's probably someone who got 16 beers.
I managed to get Fozzie in my table, like within the first 15 minutes, and he stayed there for about an hour getting talked to about shield slaves by a creature.
I
Oh,
love
boy.
that, man.
Some members of my corp also jumped into the pool and got kicked out by security.
Oh, fuck. I didn't think anyone went in.
2 people went in. It's on video.
Idiots.
Were those the 2 that showed up to the after party?
Yep.
I loved them both. By the way,
I
Glory
may
Hole.
have to go very quickly.
Yeah, it's cool. We can wrap this up here soon.
Day 3? We got day 3 yet?
Yeah, we all got drunk. They played 4 songs. It was very good.
I thought
No
it
new
was 2.
songs.
My favorite part was making eye contact while singing Harden the Fuck Up with the judge across the dance floor.
Ooh.
It was amazing.
There was a time when Kyle, most of test leadership, and myself locked arms together in a huddle and just started swaying back and forth. That was fun. Creature nearly crushed us all. And then I, for like a good solid 30 seconds, just grinded on top of Kyle.
Oh.
Yeah. Kinky, right?
Super hot.
I think Creature joined in too. The other side of him.
Who wouldn't?
Kale, you're right. I think we're going to have to split this up into 2 episodes.
I mean,
Is-
is it? Do you want to do that? I think so, because day 3 was kind of detail oriented.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of in depth on day 3, because I mean, whereas day 1 and 2 was kind of like a general overview of things, day 3 really kind of broke things down to specifics, especially with like user interface, events coming up, a lot of stuff.
So be it.
Art.
Thursday?
Thursday can work.
Thursday it is. If you went to Vegas, you want to come talk to
I
us about...
might not make it, but go on without me.
You assumed you're invited. Stuffs. Get the fuck out.
Oh
You had your
well.
one shot. Your 15 minutes. Get out.
I'm kidding. Thank you for coming. But yeah, if you were at Vegas, you watched In Depth on day 3, come on, join us on Thursday. Come and join us on the Discord, and we will get you in there. Yeah, let's do it. Thursday.
I have to say, this is our first official 2-parter, and I like it.
My wife's going to kill me. Let's go into shoutouts. Mosquito.
Just shout out to the Glory Holders. We had a pretty big presence. Like all of our leadership was there, and of course, like everyone else, we are recruiting.
How many guys?
I want to say we had like 12.
That's nice. That's real good.
Yeah, we had 2 Aussies, and then the rest of us were all from the United States.
Beautiful. Stuffs.
Stuffs. Stuffs and destroyer of booze. Shout out to the Blood Harvest guys, because I promised Rallic I would. And we had 5 people. We booked a suite, and all of test leadership was there because Moose Army can't throw a party for the life of them. Throwing shade.
Poor Moose. I heard they broke a shower glass door.
Funny story about that. I actually, the night before, got invited. So me, Creature, and I forget who else walked down there. And the second opened the door, right? Just a pile of glass just forms at my feet.
So, rumor is from Nalio that Sword Dragon's wife broke it.
I can't confirm.
Can you confirm?
Yeah, she was within the bathroom, very, very drunk, and thought it was a push-pull door instead of sliding door.
I totally understand that. It makes sense.
Almost happened at ours twice.
Oh, shit.
It's a really stupid placement for a door, too. Because it's right there at the main entry.
Good times. Nama, some shoutouts.
Shout out to Test Alliance, Best Alliance. Reddit is recruiting.
It's true.
And everyone who likes Eve and likes the people in Eve, the community, you really should consider going to an event. It doesn't have to be Vegas. Go to one of the smaller local meetups. It is amazing.
I'm literally going to go down the list here and shout out all of the people I met in Vegas, especially if you're here tonight, so I can remember your name. LT Stuffs, nice to meet you. Fishbone, Magnus, you should come to Vegas again, you frickin' slacker. Rowan, frickin' Dirk, Drayden, Rain, frickin' Anduin, thank you for meeting up with me and hanging out with me so much.
Rain's mom and dad.
Rain's mom and dad. To the guy I recruited at the, attempted to recruit at the craps table and just sent me a mail today. I got a reply to him. Thank you. To all the people who grabbed a card from me, I hope you like the cards. I hope you are now listening because of that said card. To Jay McLean, I know Kale doesn't like you, but I like you, man. Good to see you.
No, that's not true. I actually do like Jay McLean. He doesn't like me because he thinks I'm a chotch. But I'm still a big fan of Jay McLean. I think he does good services for this community. So think of me what he might like. I enjoy his witty banter.
You two just need to mutually hand job it out.
I want to do an OTPH with him. The over the pants hand job, you know.
That's some weird military shit.
Anyways,
to Morgan for letting me split a room with her, and to everybody else I met, and I forgot your name. Just remind me. I seriously was drunk most of the weekend, but thank you for coming up and hanging out with me. To my corp guys, thanks for coming out and hanging out. We're gonna have way more next year if I go. TM.
I guess that leaves me.
That's it. That's all I can think of.
Okay, so real quick, I just want to thank our new followers. We have Evil Cho Empire, Freelancer 117, Admiral Entropy, Spaz Gaming Network, Water Kiwi, Nomadic, Cowboy Colby, Ladrone Hektovich, Country Cowboy 1972, Mrs. Country 1, Gamer 2004, Blast Him to Hell, I know that person, Fishbone, of course we know Fishbone, Angel David Levy, Andrew and Spartan is now subscribed for 2 months in a row. Nalio has followed. And Corp Dust 69, to say the least. So appreciate you guys following us. This is going to be an interesting week because we're going to have 2-parter. And I'm also going to attempt to get Sword Dragon, Boki, and Jay Maricade. I'm going to see if I can get them on for like a one-off sit down interview, see what the situation is with that one story. And I also have a little trick up my sleeve that I'm going to start working on as far as a third-party EVE online project.
Very interesting.
TM, more details to come.
All right, thank you everyone for watching and subscribing and following. If you want to support the show, Twitch or Patreon. If you'd like to listen to this after hours, YouTube, podcast, Crossing Zebras, evepodcast.com. Sorry, Cypher, I didn't promote that on the time I was on TV. And all the other places you can find podcasts, mindclash.live. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
Ooh, good reminder from Fishbone. Shout out to Greg Gal and her volunteer crew. Good job.
Oh, yeah. 900 plus bags they had to stuff on frickin' Friday night.
All the bags.
Holy crap. I have pictures of how many fucking bags there were. It was fucking insane.
Yep. All right, so I guess we'll see you weirdos on Thursday.
God damn it, I hate myself. See you Thursday.
See you then.